to show you guys this fat tire bike that I use for bow hunting. They have some specifically made for hunting, like the Rambo, and there's another one too. But this one is an e-bike. The Rambo's an e-bike too. But I bought this 2 years ago now, and this is a Haibike. It's not specifically made for hunting, but it's more of a top-of-the-line fat tire e-bike, and it's got the shocks in the front and stuff. I'm not a big bike enthusiast, so I don't know a ton about them. I just know that this was the perfect setup for where I hunt up in by Hayward is where our land is here, and there's lots of public land, and it's not accessible by four-wheeler. There's a lot of gates and stuff that you can't get past, and it's also against the law to go with a motorized vehicle on that land. So I'm guessing this is considered, obviously it's got a motor, so, but we're really splitting hairs here. If somebody wants to stop me, I'll just ride away, because it's no different than a bike. But anyway, this is the perfect setup for hunting because I can put this on turbo mode. It's got 4 different modes, and I can reach, it probably averages 18 miles an hour. When you get going and pedal at a normal rate, it'll get up to 18 miles an hour in a couple seconds. And so you don't sweat or build up, heat going to the tree stand, or at least not a ton. I can go up hills. I even take it out on my land. I don't even walk to my tree stands back here anymore, because this saves me 10 minutes just to get to the top of my hill. I mean, that's a 10-minute walk, and I can be up there in 30 seconds. I believe it's quieter than walking. It makes a different sound than the deer are used to. Most of you know that when you walk through the woods and that steady, the deer are scared of that. They run away. Even when you're on a four-wheeler and you drive through the woods, you can see deer. They just stop and look at you, and you can stop. And as long as you leave that four-wheeler running, they'll just stare at you. When you walk through the woods, that isn't the case. The deer are running away. It's the same thing with this bike, because when I ride through the woods, the deer just stop and look at me, and they don't run away. They're just not used to that sound and that motion, I don't think. So it also doesn't leave any scent on the ground. I mean, it's got rubber wheels, and you're going past in a second, and so that's another added benefit. I don't usually ride this right to my stand unless I can. I'll ride right down my food plots and everything and park it by the stand. But a lot of times I'll park it off the trail and then walk into my stand. That's why I do bring a lock, a combination lock, with me. And then I can lock it to a tree. This is expensive. I've added some stuff, but this is about a $3,500 bike, between $35,000 and $4,000. So it is expensive, but the thing, it's awesome. I mean, once you use it, like, I don't even really need a four-wheeler around here, because I either use the bike or a tractor. And the tractors do the work, and my bike I can get to and from to check cameras. I have a little trailer for it that I made out of a baby cart, and that works okay. I can't get a deer out with it, so I might buy the cart that the Rambo bike has. That they have an accessory that's actually made to put deer on. I have taken my game cart, one of those manual ones, and rigged it on here and pulled a deer out before. So it can pull a deer out of the woods. And I have used it in the wintertime with snow on the ground, and one of those big jet sled type deals. And I've had a 50-pound bag of corn, a 20-pound LP tank, and what else was there? There was some other stuff on there, and it pulled it up my hill in the snow. It wasn't easy. You had to keep going, because once you stopped, it's hard to start again, obviously, because the wheels are spinning a bit on the snow. But as far as getting through stuff, this thing's awesome. Through mud, muddy trails, you can go where a normal bike can't because of the speed of how fast it comes up to speed. You can go up these little hills and stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to ride up, and all the while you're not, like I say, exerting a lot of energy, so you're not getting hot to your stand. So I can hop on these public trails and ride 5 miles back, and it'll take me, 10, 15 minutes. It'll take about 15 minutes. And when I get there, I'm not even that overheated. I don't wear all my hunting clothes. Obviously, they're on my backpack. But, yeah, it works really well. I have a pack. I have a Badlands pack, which I'm going to do a review on what's in my pack, too, this weekend. And I attach my bow to my pack. I have all my clothes in my pack. I have a bigger pack, and that's why, so I can stuff my clothes. I rarely have my clothes on when I go to my stand because I do not want to work up a sweat going to the stand. That's my, I try never to do that because of the smell and stuff that occurs after that. But anyway, I wear my bow on my pack, and this will work really well with, I just bought a Arrow Hunter Kestrel saddle. So I used to have a board that I put on this rack here, 3/4 inch piece of plywood board, and it was very hard to mount a tree stand on there. I did it and I strapped it. It wasn't perfect. I got to come up with something else so I can still do that. But they added weight. You have to have it balanced too, because just having a tree stand on your back is really changes the balance point on a bike a lot more than you would think. So with the saddle, I can throw that in my pack now, and I can also strap my 3 Lone Wolf sticks to the bottom of my pack, have my clothes in there, everything's on my pack, everything's on my back, and the balance is right against me, so it's normal to you, when you ride a bike as far as balance-wise. This thing goes 20 miles on the battery, fully charged, when you have it in turbo. And turbo is the only thing I can say that it's like is if you were going up a hard hill and you were in turbo, it would feel like you were on normal level ground with a normal bike. There's no exertion there. It just pedals super easy. And it's pedal assist. There is no spot on this bike particular that you can flip to where all you're doing is pulling a trigger and going, like a throttle. It doesn't have that. You have to pedal. And I don't find that I would, it's not a big deal to do that. So it has four modes, and then you can also turn it off if you run out of batteries and ride the bike back anyway. The battery, I forget how long it takes to charge. It's a couple hours, I think. But it lasts a long time. I mean, 20 miles on turbo, and a lot of times I don't even have it on turbo when I'm hunting. In the morning I will, but like on the way back from the stand, I'll just put it on the second or third mode because it's easy to pedal then too. And even then, with my clothes on, usually you're cold by that time you've been sitting in the stand and stuff. On the way back, by the time you get home a couple miles, you're not sweating or anything. You're just warm. You warmed yourself up a bit. So in turbo, the battery lasts 20 miles, and it has the 4 modes. And in eco mode, that's the lowest mode. The distance is 64 miles. I believe it's 60 something. So that's a long ways. And the economy mode, the eco mode, the lowest mode, is I wouldn't probably pedal in the morning to my stand or something with that. Kind of gonna it still use some exertion, but that's the one I use when I'm like riding the bike and just want to have fun and get some exercise too, because it still gives you a little bit of exercise. I guess it performs more like a normal bike. It does assist you, but the bike is heavier than a normal bike a little bit, so it kind of evens out. But then, of course, so you got 64 miles on the eco mode and 20 miles on the turbo mode, so the other 2 modes are in between there. I'm not exactly sure what they are. But there is a better review on the internet of this particular bike. There's an e-bike YouTube site that reviews all the e-bikes, and he did a better job than I do. The battery too, you can charge it on the bike itself. You just take this off and plug it in. It's got a battery indicator on the side of the bike, shows you the charge. Or you take your key, comes with a key, this comes off, and then you can bring it inside, which is nice. So when it gets cold out, you can disconnect the battery and bring it into the cabin. Charge it in there, and then in the morning, hook it back up and go. And it's a Bosch battery and motor. So, yeah, I can't say enough about it. It is an expensive tool, but I think if more people used it, they would spend the money on it, because a lot of people spend a lot of money on four-wheelers, and obviously this can't do everything a four-wheeler can, but if you don't have access to your hunting spots with a four-wheeler, this is a good bet. I put some of these mud guards and stuff on the front. That's very important for going hunting. You don't want to get a bunch of water on you, because obviously without those, there is a lot of kickback when you're going through the mud and stuff. This rack helps with the mud coming off of your tires in the back. I have a little pack here from Top Peak, and it's got tools and stuff for the bike. To be honest with you, I don't even know what the tools would do. I guess I'm going to wait until I get stuck and then pull them out and see what I can do. But anything short of taking a class on how to fix a bike, I wouldn't know what to do anyway. So, but it's got some wrenches and Allen wrenches and stuff like that in there. So, and then from Top Peak too, I have this, which this is a Top Peak rack, and this thing fits in here, slides in, and then locks. And this is pretty cool because it's got bags that drop down, so you can fit, you know, if you didn't have room in your pack, your hunting pack, you could put all your clothes in here, because these are pretty good size. I mean, I could get a whole jacket in there. I also bring a bike pump with me, and then with this bike you're going to need a helmet for sure, because you can get places where you're going to get into trouble. I've fallen, almost broken my leg, because you can just do so much with it. And like I say, I'm not a big bike guy, so I don't ride them a ton, but I'm getting more and more used to it. So that's on both sides, and then of course there's a middle compartment, and you know, you can put your water and whatever else in here. And this extends up too. It just unzip this and it kind of accordions out a bit. So you could fit quite a lot of hunting clothes in here and whatever else you need. But I think when I'm saddle hunting, the only thing I'll do, I'll take this pack with me, and then I'll strap my platform, my small platform, on there whenever it comes in the mail. I bought one of those Predator platforms from Tethered, so when that gets here. But anyway, this I put on the side, and all I do with this is slide it over the bike top, so I can lock it up. Nobody can steal the bike. But then I put a light on it. This is a Ion 700R. I don't know if that's the company name, but anyway, this is very bright. It's got different modes. It's as bright as a car headlight. You know what I mean? It's super bright when you're going down the road. And you can have the flashing and the blinking and all that stuff. Like I say, I have 2 years in this, and I have let's see here. You have a tripometer on here. You can see how far you're going. It's got a clock. It's got a speedometer. The max speed I've ever gone is 29 miles an hour. Average speed on this bike is 11 miles an hour. You can see how long. I have 317 miles on this that I've put on it. So I've ridden it quite a bit. I've taken through some mountain bike trails too, which it's a blast. It's like what you think riding a bike is supposed to be. Let's go ride bikes, you know. And you get on them and you're like, this is a bunch of work. But this thing is actually a lot of fun. It's almost like a motorcycle. But I'll show you the display here. And it's kind of a subdued color, kind of a camouflage color. It's pretty cool. It's got the blaze orange type thing, so it's, and I got a better seat for it. You know, of course it comes with a really tiny seat, so I bought a gel seat. So when it gets rained on, it's not foam or whatever, it won't suck up moisture. But this is the display. It's got the battery level indicator, and then here's your grip. You have plus and minus, and then this cycles through that stuff, the clock and all that. I don't have the clock set, but that button there is the same as this button here. And then you can reset your tripometer and all that stuff. It's got a lighted display, and then you can just turn it off. And then you hold it, it turns back on. So then the plus and minus, what that is your modes. So you have modes on the right. It says off right now, and then economy, tour, sport, and turbo. Okay, so I'll show you how quickly you can get up to speed in turbo. And then how quiet the bike is. The bike is really no more loud than a regular bike. So here we go. Alright, so there you go. We just rode a quarter mile. And I'm not even winded. I have a bad cold too. I can't even hardly breathe. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I do need to get maybe a kickstand for it. I don't have a kickstand. Alright, I'll try to hold this and start off again. Show you how fast it goes. It has 10 speeds too, so there's always a speed and gear that works. And I'm applying the brakes right now. You can see how quiet those are. When they get wet, of course, they squeak a bit, so you gotta be careful of that, the brakes. Yeah, but as far as mobile hunting goes, this thing is pretty awesome. It's gonna take a beating, you know, hunting with it. Definitely gonna get beat up going through the woods and everything, and it's not like I don't have any running water here, so I can't clean it up all the time. But you know, I bring it back and you can wash it. It doesn't hurt the motor and stuff. I keep it outside when I'm here under cover. Now I have my shed, so I can put it under there, but it can get wet. You know, it can get rained on. You don't want to pressure wash by that motor or anything like that, but I've had it in the rain. Nothing's happened. I've charged the battery probably a dozen times maybe now. And you know, it still runs like the day I got it. So, and both these tires come off too. So if you want to transport it, it's got those pins and shafts that come out. So I don't know if the Rambo bike has that or not. But this is like double the price of the Rambo bike. But all the components, the brakes and everything are all good on it. I know they're a higher end. It's got rock shocks, and you can turn that off or on, the shocks. I don't think the Rambo bike has that. I don't know if any of this stuff will make sense to any bike owners. As far as the Shimano and everything. I know it's a higher end Shimano brakes and stuff, but yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. It's a lot of fun for sure. That's the Haibike Fat 6.